Living large, living loud, stacking paper high, chasing dreams all the way to the sky. From rags to riches in the blink of an eye, friendships in the vault where the old bonds die. Parties on rooftops, crystals in the dark, lost in the glitz till we miss the mark. Gold turned to chains, heavy on the heart, the price of a wish tearing us apart. Crew, we just hit the jackpot, stacks, money tall, and now we on the top of the map. The grease slid in like a police trap. Trucks broke down, can't avoid that cap. Friends turn foes, plot a twist, no script. Lies and blood, bills ain't clean, they drip. Versace steering wheel, now we in for a trip. We used to be friends, but our bond just ripped. Gone. We hit, 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 we hit.
Chapter 30. The Mayor's Ball.
The warehouse office felt colder than usual, the silence only broken by the distant hum of city traffic. I sat on the edge of my desk, phone in hand, staring at Kesey's name. I pressed call button. She picked up after the second ring.
What do you want, Ladarius?
Just listen, all right? I said quickly, trying to beat her hang-up. I know things look crazy right now. Hell, they are crazy. But I swear to you, I did what I had to do. Emanuel was gonna have me killed.
That don't excuse it. You lied. You kept secrets. You dragged us all into this mess.
We wouldn't even be in this damn mess if Emanuel would have just hired me from the start. Instead, he gave my spot to Trey.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done, Kesey.
Good. I need to get ready for this ball. Don't call me, I'll call you.
I'd been pretending to sleep, but I'd heard everything. Every syllable of desperation in Ladarius's voice, every ounce of contempt in hers. It was almost poetic, watching him beg for forgiveness. Rough call, I muttered, not bothering to hide the smirk in my voice.
Shut the fuck up. You still sure you can get us in?
I nodded. Yeah, the kitchen staff. Not everyone on that payroll likes Emanuel. I got a guy who's loyal to me. He'll let us in through the delivery entrance. We'll blend in with the servers and food runners.
You trust him?
No, but I trust that he hates Emanuel more than he hates me. I stood, flexing my sore shoulder. Look, once we're inside, we stick to the plan. Masks on. Move like shadows. So it'll be hard to tell who's who. That's our advantage. Ladarius didn't reply right away. He was staring at the floor, lost in thought. What? I asked. He looked up, eyes darker than before.
If this goes sideways, Trey, you better pray the cops catch you before I do.
I gave a crooked grin. If this goes sideways, ain't nobody walking out anyway.
I leaned over the table in the back of the warehouse, unrolling the digital schematic of the event space on the screen in front of us. All right, I said, texting in the group chat. Here's how this is gonna play out. At exactly 8:30 p.m., Emanuel's gonna hit the stage and thank all his rich-ass guests for coming out. He's gonna gas them up, say some poetic shit about unity and legacy or whatever. Then he'll introduce the city's most prestigious orchestra. The lights will dim and all eyes will be on the stage. After the orchestra plays for about 15 minutes, there will be a firework display to cap the night off. Now that's our window. That's when we stir the pot. We need a distraction, big enough to pull his elite security away from him, but not big enough to panic the entire ballroom. Overheard altercation between staff, fake medical emergency, anything that sells. Once we create the diversion, Protocol says they'll escort Emanuel to the safe room in the East Wing. But here's the twist. We'll already be inside that wing, masked up.
I heard him say his plan while he texted the group, and I thought to myself, this is the stupidest plan I've ever heard. I see why Emanuel didn't hire him. He's gonna get us killed.
I adjusted my tie for the third damn time. The tux didn't sit right on me tonight. Not because it was too tight, but because I was tense. I stared at the screen of my phone, Michella's name staring back at me. Hello.
Chris, I told you I'm not going.
I sat on the edge of the bed, forcing my voice to stay calm. Just hear me out.
No, I don't want to be in a room with liars and killers pretending like shit, sweet. That ball is blood-soaked and you know it.
She wasn't wrong. Look, we need someone close to Emanuel. Someone he won't side-eye.
Oh, so I'm bait now? That what I am to you?
It's not like that. You won't even have to talk to him if you don't want to. Just blend in. Keep an eye on him. Float through the room. I could hear her moving around, pacing too. We were both on edge.
And what? Send a smoke signal if he blinks too hard?
No, I said. Just text me. If you feel something off, if something's wrong, that's all I need. She didn't speak for a second, and I didn't dare say anything about Antariel. If Michella found out she'd be in the same room, nothing on earth would get her through those ballroom doors. And tonight wasn't about beef, it was about the mission.
I don't like this.
You don't have to like it. Just trust me. Please.
Fine. But if this shit goes left, Chris, I'm done with you. Done with all this.
If these fools would have just listened. If Ladarius would have did what I said when I said it. If Trey didn't let his emotions get in the way. If Kim had just kept her hands clean. None of this chaos would have ever reached my doorstep. But they didn't. And now I have to clean this shit up. I adjusted my cufflinks and stared out the tinted window. Tonight, the most powerful people in this city are showing up for me. That makes me the most powerful man in this city. And after tonight, no one can touch me.
I sat beside Emanuel in silence for a while, watching his jaw tighten with every passing thought. He was lost in one of those power-drunk daydreams again, convinced the whole world revolved around his plans. I didn't say much. When he was like this, interruptions weren't usually welcome, but I couldn't hold it in any longer. I turned slightly in my seat, trying to sound casual. Have you seen or heard from Trey? His tone was ice cold, dismissive.
I had to make sure this ball was coordinated right. I didn't have time to check for him.
And just like that, he shifted his gaze back to the dark glass. Like Trey didn't matter anymore. Like none of us did. Not unless we were part of the show. I stared ahead, my nerves tightening. Something in my gut told me this night wasn't going to end the way he thought.
My mask covered half my face, but my expression underneath was fire. Emanuel stood on a raised platform near the center of the ballroom, laughing with donors, toasting to his bullshit legacy. And me? I was watching from behind a column like a vulture.
I don't do suits. I don't do velvet and champagne and fake-ass laughter, but I was doing it tonight. I kept thinking to myself, if Trey slipped away again, we'd lose our shot. So I was ready for this night to be over with.
My rage was red hot. Michella was somewhere in the crowd. I hadn't seen her yet. Emanuel was on his pedestal like he was God's gift, and I was just waiting on my cue to fuck some shit up.
I leaned against the marble bar, swirling a drink I hadn't touched. My mask shimmered with lace, regal and unreadable. But under it, my jaw was tight, my eyes sharp. I was scanning, watching, waiting.
I stood near a hallway entrance, or back against a statue. Mask was plain, but it hit a storm. My hand grazed over the cell phone gown as I read the group chat, silently praying.
I sent a quick message in the group chat asking, is everybody in position? I received all thumbs up, and then I look at Trey as me and him are at the kitchen dock. Anybody got eyes on the chief?
Yeah, he's here and he doesn't have on a mask either. He might be a problem.
I leaned against the cold brick wall behind the venue. Chef's assistant was supposed to crack that back door any minute now. I checked my phone. I glanced at Ladarius standing a few feet away, silent, still. He hadn't said much, didn't need to. I could feel the suspicion rolling off him like smoke from a slow burn. I played my part though, focused, steady, like we were still in this together. But in my head, I was already gone. As soon as I see an opening, I'm out. I'll vanish into that crowd like mist. Because playing the soldier was never the plan. Surviving is. I owed nobody anything anymore. Especially not him.
Trey stood too still, too calm. That made my nerves twitch. I should have killed this fucker. But no, I listened. I let him talk. Now we're here. And if he flips on me, if he even thinks about it, I already know how I'm gonna end him. This was the last dance. If Trey plays me, he dies before the music stops.
I stood still among the chaos of elegance. Music swirled, glasses clinked, gowns shimmered, but none of it mattered. Not when Emanuel was just 20 feet away. He laughed casually, charming the room with his fake humility, shaking hands with men who thought they ran the city. And all I could see was Alex's face. My heart pounded like a war drum beneath my dress. Every second felt like I was burning alive. The plan said, wait, watch, time it right, but I couldn't. I headed towards him, step by step, cutting through the sea of bodies. My mask did the work. No one noticed me. I was 10 feet away from him now, then 6, then 4. I could have pulled it, right there. I could have ended it. His reign, his power, his lies, all of it. But then out of nowhere, the chief showed up and pulled Emanuel in close and started talking to him. Then I really looked around the room. There were snipers on the balcony, and I realized if I pulled that trigger now, I wouldn't even make it to the carpet before my blood joined the champagne on the floor. I stopped, but the rage inside of me didn't. I turned sharply and slipped through the nearest side door. I yanked my mask off and breathed in like I'd been drowning. God, I whispered to the night, give me something, anything, a sign, please. And to my surprise, that sign came pulling around the corner.
I see Emanuel in the center of the floor and thought I should give him some words of wisdom. You know, Emanuel, I used to think the rot in this city started at the corners, but then I realized the real disease is sitting right in the goddamn center, wearing a tux and shaking hands.
Now that's poetic, Chief. You ever thought about writing a memoir? Bitter Man and Empty Threats has a nice ring to it.
Your days of playing God are numbered. You may wear the crown tonight, but even kings get dragged off the throne, especially when their sins start leaking from the walls.
Well, if you're gonna come for the king, Chief, just make sure your aim ain't as shaky as your badge.
The kitchen was chaos. Pots clanging, steam rising, workers moving like ghosts in uniforms. But we moved through it like shadows unnoticed. Once we were in, my plug gave me 3 masks, but I managed to hide the 3rd one from Ladarius, and I gave him the white one. Ladarius took it without a word, sliding it on like a soldier putting on war paint. I tucked the other mask back into my inner jacket pocket and slipped the black one over my face. Just like that, we were anonymous again. Just more bodies in the ballroom swarm. We pushed through the curtain and entered the crowd. The music thundered louder here. I kept walking, scanning, calculating. My eyes locked onto Emanuel, center of the room, surrounded but vulnerable in motion. "Come on," I said over my shoulder. Ladarius was close, too close, so I caused a mess. I moved faster, brushing sharply into a staffer holding a tray of champagne. Glasses shattered, liquid splashed, people gasped. The small commotion was perfect. I glanced over my shoulder. Ladarius was blocked, just long enough. In that second, I slipped into the crowd and pulled the red mask from my coat. I slipped it on smoothly, changing my identity without a sound. I lost Ladarius. And now I had my own plan.
My breath was tight in my chest as I stood at the edge of the crowd, scanning masked faces in black suits. No sign of Trey. That slick son of a bitch vanished like smoke. I pulled my phone out, furious fingers typing. Plan B. I lost Trey. He had on a black mask and a black suit.
I glanced at my phone as it buzzed in my hand. The message made my stomach twist.
Now, that's almost every damn man in this bitch. How the fuck we supposed to find him? I looked up from the message and around the room.
We ain't gonna find this nigga.
You fucking lost him? Are you serious, Ladarius? How the hell you lose the man that tried to kill you? Now we have to all keep our heads on a swivel.
I slipped behind the curtain, weaving through shadows until I caught sight of Emanuel's security detail. Suits with earpieces, eyes scanning, guns ready. There he was, Emanuel, adjusting his tie. Calm, untouchable. A man seconds away from his moment of glory. The guard saw me and moved fast. "Hey, you can't be back here," one barked, hand already on his weapon. "Wait!" I raised my hands fast. "I'm here to warn him." 2 guards grabbed me, trying to drag me out, but I kept shouting. "They're coming for him. Tonight, after he walks off that stage, this whole place is a setup." Emanuel turned slowly, his eyes like daggers.
Let him speak.
The guards hesitated.
Pat him down.
They yanked me forward and searched me top to bottom. No weapon, no wire, just sweat and adrenaline. Once cleared, I stepped forward. "They're inside already," I whispered. "Ladarius and crew. They're here, and they're going to make a move the second you finish that speech."
Trey stood in front of me like a ghost, crawling out of a grave. His face was twisted, dirty, desperate. "You expect me to believe this? That you, after everything, came running back to save me?" I studied him hard. Couldn't tell if it was guilt or survival, or both.
"Yes. That's the only reason I came back. They're serious, E."
He had betrayed before, lied, switched sides. But if what he said was true, this wasn't a ball anymore. It was a battleground. "Fine," I said, straightening my jacket. "Let me give this speech, and once I'm off that stage, we dip out."
My fingers flew across the screen as I typed out the group text, eyes locked on the backstage corridor, where I saw that slippery motherfucker, Trey, whispering to Emanuel. I see Trey talking to Emanuel. It's no telling what that son of a bitch said to him. "Fuck Ladarius. How did you let that bitch get out of sight?" I hit send just as the orchestra's soft swell welcomed Emanuel onto the stage. My blood boiled. If Trey gave him even a hint of our plan, everything was compromised.
The crowd applauds as I walk on stage. I breathe in deep, center myself, and then speak. Good evening, my beautiful citizens. Tonight isn't just about suits and ball gowns, masks and music. Tonight is about power. The kind of power that builds cities, silences enemies, and outlasts betrayal. You all stand in this grand hall because in some way or another, you've contributed to this city's greatness. And in return, I've given you peace, order, prosperity. But even in times of celebration, there are shadows. There are always those who smile in public, then plot in private. Those who would rather burn the house down than fix the broken windows. To them I say this: your war is not with me. It is with yourselves, and the mirror never lies. Tonight, we light the sky in honor of our unity, our dominance, our future. Thank you for believing in something bigger than yourselves. Because after this night, this city will be untouchable. Now I would like to introduce you to the most prestigious orchestra in the country. And right after they finish, we will be capped off by a grand firework display.
My back was pressed against the cool tile wall inside the handicap stall. Every breath I took felt like it echoed. My fingers were slick with sweat as I typed out a quick text to the group. No one responded right away. Probably too much movement outside. I could hear the muffled echoes of the crowd shifting, laughing, glasses clinking. Emanuel had just wrapped that smug-ass speech. Fireworks were about to start, the band playing. All eyes would be in the sky. Perfect moment to strike. If I could just get close. I stared down at my reflection in the chrome of the toilet paper holder, my mask hanging in one hand. Then, click. The restroom door creaked open. I froze. I heard the voice a second later. Bathroom's clear. Stand by for the mayor. My blood went cold. Another set of steps. Closer this time. He was staying. I could hear his weight settle near the sink, maybe checking the mirrors. I didn't have long, and this guard was my only shot. I waited, counted, 3 breaths, 1 step. Then I kicked the stall door open with all my force. It slammed into him. He staggered back, caught off guard, his hand going to his earpiece. We crashed into the sink. He threw a wild elbow. I ducked and slammed his head into the mirror. Once, twice. He went limp. I dragged him into the farthest stall, heart hammering, adrenaline slicing through me. I stripped him fast. Jacket, badge, mask, even his earpiece. Security check, report in. A voice crackled through the tiny device. I paused, steadying my breath, voice low and even. Mayor's on his way in. Are we clear? It's clear, I replied. I slipped on the jacket. Tight fit, but it worked. Pulled the mask down over my face, checked my reflection. I didn't look like me anymore. And in just a minute or two, Emanuel, the man who tried to have me killed, the man who destroyed everything, was walking straight into my hands. Let's see how the king likes it when the wolves are waiting in his throne room. I sent a new text to the group. Emanuel is walking straight towards me. I'm in the north bathroom. I'm gonna try and take him out. I stood still in front of the mirror, heart pounding behind the mask, sweat trickling down my back beneath the stolen security jacket. The earpiece buzzed again. Another voice, sharp and casual. Mary wants to accompany the mayor to the restroom. She's walking with him now. My pulse spiked. Shit. I snatched my phone out and typed fast. Mary is coming with him. I need y'all to get rid of her. ASAP. This might be our only chance to get this nigga.
Michelle, you are the closest person to Mary. I checked out the room near the service corridor. It's clear. Take her there.
I swallowed my dread and stepped into character, wiping the edge of my glass and forcing the tremble in my voice. Mary, I called, my eyes wide, vulnerable. Can we talk somewhere? Mary looked over, surprised, hesitant. All right, she nodded slowly. Let's talk. We moved through the thick crowd, heels clicking across the marble as we slipped into a side hallway. I led her to the room Chris said was empty, quiet, dimly lit, just the hum of old lights above. We stepped inside and I let it loose. Everything. Tears rushed out like I'd been holding them for years. I sank into a chair, hands shaking, sobbing harder and harder. I can't live with this guilt. Mary approached, arms crossed but uneasy.
Michelle, what are you talking about? You're spiraling.
You don't get to do that. You don't get to pretend like we didn't have blood on our hands. Then the door lock clicked. We both turned sharply.
I stepped out from the corner like a ghost, slow and deliberate. My fingers trembled as I removed the mask, exposing the bruises that hadn't fully healed and the eyes that had seen far too much. Which one of you bitches sold me out?
The muffled boom of fireworks rattled the walls. Each blast outside mirrored the fury boiling in my chest. I heard the door creak open as Emanuel entered the restroom. I stayed still, crouched in the shadows of the last stall. Trey's voice was faint from the hallway.
Handle your business, Mr. Mayor. I'll keep this door shut.
Emanuel unzipped, humming softly like he didn't have the weight of 10 bodies on his back. And that's when I stepped out, silent, slow, gun steady in my hand. You know, all you had to do was the right thing. From the start. He froze midstream, but didn't speak. I continued. That night we first won, I woke up thinking I should kill every last one of y'all. I had the vision, the motive, hell, even the timing, but I didn't. I let it go, because having friends in this world, that shit means something, or so I thought. Emanuel zipped up slowly, his reflection in the mirror catching the gleam of the pistol in my hand. You didn't have to kill Mario. You didn't have to kill Alex. That was weak. Coward's moves. Emanuel turned, calm and deliberate, wiping his hands like he was preparing for a toast.
I finished my piss, flushed, and turned calmly. Ladarius. Of course, there he was, gun drawn, hand steady, eyes full of heat. So this was the moment he'd been waiting on. I exhaled through my nose, amused despite the barrel pointed at me. So this it? I said, slowly lifting my hands. You gon' kill me? In the fucking bathroom? Some honor you got?
Honor went out the window the day you sent Trey to kill me. And speaking of Trey, don't you think it's strange that Trey is guarding the door to a room with 2 enemies in it?
I didn't care to hear the rest, because at this point I'm feeling untouchable. I'd heard enough whining, enough accusations. So I moved first. The gun fired. Pain ripped through my shoulder like lightning. I felt the warmth spread through my shirt, but I managed to get close enough to him to knock the gun away. The gun skittered across the tile, sliding somewhere near the sinks. All that training and you still can't aim. Should have killed me when you had the chance. Elbows, knees, fists. It wasn't a fight anymore. It was a purge. All the buried betrayal. All the tension since we first won that cursed money. It exploded right here in this bathroom. And then, the sound of the door. Trey's voice clipped and sharp.
Security, get to the restroom, now.
The next second he was there, barreling in. I saw Trey wrap Ladarius in a chokehold and drag him backward.
I'm gonna make sure you're dead this time.
Ladarius thrashed, always the fighter. But I ended it. I stomped down on his wrist, hard. He froze under the pressure, and I stared him dead in the eyes while I did it. He lay on the cold floor, breathing through his teeth, hate in his eyes. Close enough for him to hear me over the fireworks cracking outside. You just didn't want to be forgotten. Trey stood up beside me. Maybe next time, soldier. And before me or Trey could react, the door slammed open. Chief! Of course it was this motherfucker. Always poking his little fucking head around. Goddamn, Chief. I really wish you weren't so damn nosy. The chief's hand hovered near his holster, eyes flicking between the gun in my hand and the bruised Ladarius, coughing, bleeding, but still alive.
What the fuck is going on in here?
I sneered, stepping aside and motioning to Trey. Not so fast, Chief. Keep away from your gun. Now, Trey, prove your loyalty. Right now. Kill him. Kill the chief. Do it, goddammit. Trey raised his gun and paused. Then he put it down.
I'm not doing it. I'm not your fucking lapdog.
Are you disobeying a direct order? Are you stupid? I said do it. Fine. You got lucky this time, Chief. Tie both their asses up. Trey said nothing, just moved into motion. He bound Ladarius's wrist behind him again, then moved to the chief, who didn't resist, but glared the whole time.
You're gonna regret this.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that, let's get out of here.
As they walked out, the fireworks lit the sky, and behind them the chief and I sat tied in silence. I turned to the chief and told him I had a video I needed to show him if we make it out of here.
The fireworks outside crackled like war drums, booming through the walls of the private room. I had been standing here listening to these two boo-hoo for too long, and it was time to get my lick back.
I guess I scared the shit out of Mary because she pulled her gun out, which scared Michelle shitless. So I charged her, we tasseled, and the gun landed on the floor, right by Michelle's feet.
Michelle! I screamed. Pick it up! Don't let her touch it!
Both of us backed away, breathing hard, watching the weapon like it was a ticking bomb.
Mary straightened her dress, smoothing her hair.
Michelle, shoot her. She's unstable. You've always known it.
No! You know what the fuck she did. I pointed at Mary. Michelle, she's the reason Mario is dead. Emanuel killed him because of her.
Mario is dead? My lips parted, a tremble in my throat. So Emanuel lied to me that day. Well, you know what? Good riddance. Mario was weak. He got what the fuck he deserved. Anterio flinched like I'd slapped her. I turned to Michelle. Now! Michelle, kill her. End this. She's always been the wedge between us.
My hand trembled around the grip of the pistol. I couldn't hear the fireworks anymore. All I could hear was my own thoughts. Two women now screaming, pushing, pulling at the truth like it was a rope around my neck. Anterior's voice broke through.
And she killed Tara! Michelle! She killed her!
What? I turned slowly.
This bitch had Tara's phone the whole time. Me and the others figured it out last night.
I stared at Mary. Is that true? Her silence was louder than her shouting. The mask dropped from her face. No more lies, no more charm. Just a cold, sharp glint in her eye. I stared at her, and the world slowed down. The air in the room felt like glass, sharp and ready to shatter. Anterior's breathing was ragged. Her eyes searched mine, silently begging me to do it. I trusted you.
I just so happened to be passing when I saw Trey and Emanuel hauling ass out of the restroom, so I went and investigated. And to my surprise, I see Ladarius and the chief tied up. What the fuck happened here?
Look, it's a long story, but we have to catch them niggas right now or we are fucked. Hurry up and untie us. As soon as she got us untied, we got a text message to the group with coordinates to a location.
Emanuel must be stopped, so I'm coming with y'all.
As we make it to the SUV, I hear through the earpiece that they found Mary's body in a room unalive, right as Emanuel was asking about her. I break the news to Emanuel because we need to get out of here. They just found Mary's body. She's dead, Emanuel, but we have to go now. I glance at Emanuel, slouched in the back seat. I open the second SUV's door, sliding and heart racing.
The door shuts. The world feels quieter than it's ever been. No more music, no more crowds, just silence. The driver says nothing. I almost wish I hadn't won that fucking money. I wipe my face, shaking. I lost every goddamn one of my friends.
I hear him, his voice breaking. But I don't feel sorry. I feel focused. I keep my eyes forward until he says that last line. Then I lowered the partition. Then I speak. We all had to make hard choices, Emanuel. I slowly check the rearview mirror. Our eyes meet. But this one was easy for me.
What?
I stop at the red light, gun already in my hand. Goodbye, motherfucker. I parked the SUV and cut the engine. Everything was silent. The wind outside carried smoke and the distant echo of fireworks. But in this moment, all I could hear was my own heart, pounding, uneven. I stepped out slowly, one hand shaking. The others were already there. I didn't speak. Trey's car pulled up behind me. He stepped out with 2 more detail agents. They moved slowly toward the SUV, eyes narrowed, guns within reach. The chief held up his hand and barked.
Trey, stop. All of you. Don't take another step.
I stepped forward slowly, but something didn't sit right. I looked at Olivia. Her face was cold, unreadable, but her hands were shaking like the weight of what she'd just done was finally hitting. Olivia, what did you do? She didn't answer, just stepped out of the car like a ghost. She got out of the car and leaned on the door and started crying.
As soon as I heard Ladarius speak, I started walking. Slow, calculated, controlled. I reached for the grip of my pistol because I didn't know what I was walking into.
I spotted Trey and raised my gun instantly. Stay right there. Trey, don't fucking move.
Olivia was just about to start walking to us when out of nowhere, Emanuel jumped out of the car, one eye full of blood, and grabbed her and held a knife to her throat. The chief was halfway to the car, but I don't think Emanuel could see him.
Olivia, look out.
Did this motherfucker come back from the dead?
Oh my fucking God.
I couldn't see out my left eye, but I could feel the steel in my hand and the fear in Olivia's throat. Y'all thought y'all were gonna fucking end me. Nah, I'm fucking untouchable, goddammit. I just crawled back from hell, and now I'm going to make you all pay.
I had the shot the second he jumped out of that SUV. He was yelling, screaming like the goddamn devil he was. So I whispered, loud enough for him to hear. That hole in hell you just crawled out of never closed. One bullet, right between the skull.
The silence that followed was unreal. One step forward, then another.
I watched the chief lower his gun like it weighed 1,000 pounds. His hand shook, but his face was stone.
I wanted to spit on Emanuel's body, but I didn't.
I stepped forward, eyes locked on Trey. The 2 security detail men stood behind him, clueless, confused, waiting for orders. You got a choice, Trey. Kill the men that came with you and walk out of here, or all 3 of y'all die right alongside Emanuel. I watched him. No movement, just that tiny flicker of hesitation behind his eyes. I saw it, the moment he calculated it. Then, silence broke.
I looked at the two men beside me. They were waiting on me, counting on me. But I'd been in this game long enough to know loyalty don't mean shit when the boss is dead and the city is watching. I exhaled slow. One bullet each, clean, merciless. I holstered my gun and looked at Ladarius. Then he made me put the two bodies in the SUV with Emanuel.
My stomach turned. I'd seen a lot. But watching Trey shoot those two men, his own crew, was fucked up.
I stepped forward finally. The gunfire didn't rattle me. Not anymore. I looked at Trey, still standing there like a soldier without a war. Ladarius told me a lot of things when we were tied up in that bathroom. And since you didn't shoot me when you had the chance, I'm gonna give you one thing I ain't given anybody else in years. A 24-hour head start. After that, I'm coming for you.
I nodded once, didn't speak, didn't need to. I turned toward the SUV, opened the driver's side and got in and pulled off. No need to look back.
We just stood there, watching brake lights disappear. Then Ladarius broke the silence.
Burn the whole damn thing. We doused the SUV with gas and lit the match. As the flames danced and the bodies turned to ash, we turned our backs to the fire and walked out, silent, tired, changed. We walked to the top of the warehouse, the skyline glowing overlooking the city.
I lit a cigarette and let the smoke curl from my lips like a smirk. We didn't win. We just made it out, but we made it out on top.
My hand still trembled from that trigger. The weight of what I'd done, what I'd survived. But I didn't cry, not this time. This city had taken everything from me. I finally took something back.
I felt the wind tug at my coat. And to think that Mary bitch thought she was gonna get some of that jackpot money. Fuck no.
I clutched Ladarius's arm. We were still shaky but alive, together. I didn't know what tomorrow looked like, but I knew no one would fuck with us ever again.
I had to do what the fuck I had to do, and I'll do it again if I have to.
They stood side by side, no music, no speeches. Because in that moment on that rooftop, they all knew the truth. They didn't just survive the storm, they became it. The city was theirs now because we hit.
It's been some time since I've been back in the States. I can honestly say that I love it here in Spain. I'm sipping dark rum in a bar tucked inside a coastal alley when a little boy walked up, wide-eyed and fearless. "You want to buy some candy, mister?" he asked in Spanish-tinted English. I chuckled. "Yeah, little man, give me one of them chocolate bars." He handed it over and ran off. I took a bite, sweet, smooth, familiar, like something from another lifetime. Then I felt the air change. Before I could even turn, someone sat next to me. Soft perfume, calm voice.
"You always talked about coming here. It's beautiful, just like you said."
I turned, and my whole body locked up. "Ashley, what the hell?" I choked out. How did you make it out that fire?" She smiled with the grace of a ghost.
"The higher power had other plans for me."
My chest started to tighten. I coughed, then again, harder. What did you do?" Ashley leaned closer, watching me fall apart like a clock winding down.
"I'm afraid your time's up, Trey. You always did like chocolate bars."
The candy slipped from my hand as my knees buckled. I hit the floor.
"You used to dream about this place. You always talked about the beaches, the women, the peace. When I made it out of that fire, I knew God kept me alive for a reason. I hope the bloodshed was worth it. You will be dead in about 30 more seconds. I watched him coughed and clawed at the table. I didn't flinch. I got up and started walking as I reached for my son's hand and whispered, "It's time to go back home, son. We got a score to settle."
Well, what an explosive chapter that was. You've just listened to another twist in the dark tale of We Hit. If your heart's racing and you're craving more, you know what to do. Smash that like button and hit subscribe.
Wow.